You intrigued me the first time I came across you online, on Twitter and then on YouTube, and it was your handle, Secretary of Akkad. And the first time I saw that, I thought, I know what a secretary is. What the hell is Akkad? And then I sort of thought about it and thought, there's another guy that I've heard of, that I've seen a little bit about, and he's called Sargon of Akkad. It must have something to do with that. And then I started looking a little bit more than at Carl Benjamin and realised he was Sargon of Akkad, but then he sort of dropped the whole name then. So tell me about Secretary of Akkad, because it made me go, ooh, who is this guy and what's this about?
I work for an Akkadian emperor. What else? No. So I got involved with the Section 127 campaign, UKIP. And of course, that was around about the same time that Carl joined UKIP. It was a push to try and make the British political system respond to the demand there was for this sort of thing. And Carl has his gamer tag that he's had for ages, Sargon of Akkad. He started his YouTube channel with the gamer tag. He thought no one would really watch his stuff, but then obviously he blew up.
What's a gamer tag?
Oh, sure. When you play a video game, sometimes you might have a little like tag before, or a different. You might not use your own name because that's a bit weird, having your full actual name on video games.
So Carl used to be a gamer.
Yeah,
still is. But still is, right?
Never too young. Anyway, so we both joined UKIP. I tried to help him as much as possible with what he was doing, because getting rid of laws like this and trying to make the country more proper was the right thing to do. And eventually, I kept saying to him, because I watched all his content growing up as well, he kept whining, I don't have a secretary. So I said to him, look, have you got one yet? He said, oh, no, I'll get it done. So then we went to the UKIP Youth Conference, and we're all both pissed, and everyone else is pissed. I said to him, have you got a secretary yet, by the way? And we went, oh, bugger it, why don't you do it, huh? So next morning, got the job. And as we were working, and his Sargon of Akkad channel was still him, that was the fun brand. When people would send us messages, or I did correspondence, or wanted people to know who the hell I was, Secretary of Akkad just seemed like an easy way for people to. He works for that guy, right? Like, yeah, that's so. Because I wasn't making videos with my face and doing what I was now. I was just a secretary. And then when we started the Lotus Eaters, Cole just turned to me and said, right, you're on the podcast. And I went, what? And since, that's how it's been.
And how long was that journey?
Oh, God. Trying to think. It must have been at least 4 years or something like that now, if I'm roughly remembering. Yeah, I mean, we started the Lotus Eaters. It's definitely over a year now. It's weird. You don't think about it until someone mentions it, and then you realize how much time has gone.
Oh, I think it's over 2 years. Well over 2 years. Yeah.
Ugh. Yeah, it's been a while, hasn't it?
Yeah. I think the podcast of the Lotus Eaters should be held up as a model of how the new age information and the new way of running a show, especially a podcast, can be done, because it isn't a one-man show. It isn't Carl going, welcome to my show and all this is mine. He's created something that now, I mean, the first time I went to your offices 3-4 months ago, I expected three of you sat there, and I walked in and there was like a dozen people. So it's quite a big production. Your quality production values are amazing. The amount of content you put out is amazing. And it seems to be a platform now to create other presenters and other people to take this fight on, and take on the big tech and take on the BBC, and to get information out there. And it wouldn't surprise me if some of the presenters end up leaving to start their own version of Podcast of the Lotus Eaters. And I get the impression that seems to be part of the master plan of this. Is any of this correct, or have I just made all that up?
Well, I don't know. It's Cole's business and his baby. I don't have any management or share of the company or anything. So, but I do know when he started out, one of the definite reasons for the change was one of the horrible things about not being a leftist online is that eventually the YouTube terms of service, or wherever terms of service, will shift ever so slightly until you're out of it. I mean, the free speech union being deplatformed by PayPal just this week, absolute madness. I mean, you think 4 years ago, if you suggested that would have happened, people would have just laughed at you. But there we are. The free speech union are now too radical to even have a bank account. Like, okay, so he was looking at that. It was just him running his own place as Sargon of Akkad. If they just deleted him, or some rando YouTube content moderator deleted him because they thought, oh, not very professional, let's just get rid of that. So you wanted to professionalize, you wanted to make sure you were within the rules always. So do run it professionally in that regard. And in case, heaven forbid, he got hit by a bus or something, there'd still be a institution rather than just himself. Because he got to that point in his life where, he's got kids and whatnot and sees things through that perspective. So definitely there was that in mind when he was setting up the place, which is this is going to be bigger than just one person. So I guess we'll see how it all goes. I mean, it seems to be going all right.
And am I right in thinking that even if YouTube kicked you off tomorrow, you have your own subscription model, maybe your own service for people? You wouldn't lose everybody. All you would lose is the bit of YouTube traffic, but you've got other ways that you're fully in control of.
Yeah, so we have a website at the company, and that has its own redundancies just in case something does go wrong or whatever. So we're pretty insulated, and that's the real positive, frankly. So yeah, if we did get kicked by YouTube, I mean, it'll be a real blow. I mean, YouTube is still one of the main outlets for views, the main outlet for views in terms of just raw numbers. But to actually have the place where the money does come in that pays everyone's salary, that's off YouTube. So if we get suspended for a week or something, it's not a problem. The company doesn't collapse overnight. So there's that insulation, which a lot of places don't have. But I do wonder, you see the Daily Wire does a fantastic way of getting around all that, just in case it happens to them. Stephen Crowder, I think he's got his own website where everything's done that way as well. And as we set up, we noticed, I think it's Konstantin Kisin and everyone else started messaging Carl. They're like, hey, I see what you're doing. You got the right idea. YouTube's crazy. So it seems to be the way the right will function in future, which is that you'll have some kind of website where the money is made or some outlet like that. And you'll still have an outlet where you can put stuff up. But YouTube is a side thing rather than just the only thing. People seem to have woken up that YouTube is a mad place.